Welcome back. We're continuing our interview with our guest for tonight, who is Dr. Hala. She's the owner and co-founder of Royal Britannia Education Group, RBK. So we're continuing and discussing more about the classes themselves. So can you tell me more about that?
The children are divided into 4 age groups. We have our babies, we call them rubies, and then we have our toddlers, we call them jades. And then the next group, which is the 3.5 to 4-year-olds, they are the sapphires. And then the older age group, who are about 4+, they are called the diamonds. And they're the ones that will then go into what is equivalent to KG2 and reception in formal British schools and year 1 possibly as well.
Very interesting. I love the naming,
I
because
know
it's
that
all
our
like
little
precious
gems, yes,
stones.
precious stones, exactly. And that's exactly where the theme I got it from. And the children are categorized by their abilities to accommodate their learning, and the tools and the facilities in the classrooms are sort of manipulated in a way that it suits that learning style for the child. But we don't keep the children in one class. The class is a homeroom, but they move around to their activities, so they get to visit the other pods, and they learn science in one class, technology in another, engineering in another, maths, PE, music, the kitchen, because we have a full-fledged chef kitchen, so they get to do cooking classes there. So they move around from one activity to the next.
Very interesting. Yes. Sounds so interesting, and I believe like kids would enjoy their whole day. They wouldn't even want to go back home.
Well,
they wouldn't want to go
exactly.
home.
Our timetable goes on from 7:30 in the morning, so the children are dropped by their mummies and daddies. We also actually have a transport facility for those who don't have, they don't drop their children off. And it goes on to 2 periods. We finish a group at 12, and then the other group can go on till 3 o'clock. Because a lot of my girlfriends would say, Hanan, we are working at banks or insurance companies. They don't finish at
early.
1 o'clock. Exactly.
Yes.
So they don't want their children.
3 or 4 that they leave.
So we do finish at 3:15, the main formal schooling, and it's not a repeat or just watching TV. There's nothing like that. Although we do have interactive whiteboards, we sort of utilize that as a tool of learning. But no, it's a structured program that takes children all the way through. They have their lunch, they have their snack time, they'll have a little bit of a rest time when they're ready to have a break, and then we go and resume their activities. We have an after-school program for children who want to bring in their siblings to join them in the music and the creativity and the classes. So it's like a serving the community. It's not just about being a school, a standalone environment. No, we actually go out to the community, invite people in to be part of it. So it's like lots of afternoon activities, specialist teachers that provide the tutoring for them as well.
And why do you believe it's very important for these young children to go to nursery and not just go to school immediately?
Yeah. Well, to be really frank with you, I find this new generation of children coming through are really smart. They're very switched on, and they're very, very prepared. And I find the younger the child is given the opportunity of learning, utilizing the tools of learning that is available in the schools like myself, it gets them prepared for school better, because the schools, when they go to year 1, those schools are wanting children who are able to hold the pen and pencil properly, draw between the lines already done. They understand the basics of their alphabet and their colors and their phonics, the structure of learning. They have the basics, and they can then build on those. So our children at this age, they are part of families. They're very, very fortunate because the mum and daddies are marrying young, so they get to grow with younger parents. Their grandparents are young as well and surviving, and they have a network of aunties and cousins. So the children who are involved now in that home is speaking more eloquently. They're listening to adult conversations. They're more mature. And Kuwaiti students predominantly, or even the children who are expatriates visiting, who joined RBK, we find they're well traveled. So their experiences of what the life around them and the activities that they get involved in when they travel, they're very ready for school. So they come to us. They're not necessarily going to learn ABACA with us or red, white, blue. They actually know them from home. We're only going to utilize that and make it more creative and innovative by utilizing it in a different way to make it more structured through schemes of work, learning, reading, writing, speaking, through the STEM or the STEAM sort of a synopsis of curriculum.
Very interesting. And do you believe that the advancement of technology as well has helped develop this character of those kids, where you're feeling that they're like young adults, not just children?
Definitely. You can't, I mean, right now, not to have access to a computer or not being able to access different apps on your phone considers you illiterate. It's not reading and writing anymore that's illiterate. It's not being, accessible technology-wise, or, technophobes. You can't even say that anymore. I find our children are very adaptable, and they're like sponges. They're ready to learn anything that you put within their reach. I was on a train the other day and coming in the UK, and the child was screaming their head off, and it was rather loud. And the mom took out her phone and gave it to this 9 or 8, 9-month-old baby in a pram. The baby opened the flap, turned on the whatever, probably entered the passcode, did what she needed to do, got the app she liked, and she was listening to music.
Wow. And younger than 1-year-old.
Exactly. And I'm just thinking, we should allow our children to experiment more and maybe educate the parents with us on how better to give these new tools of learning to the children, to be able to surf, carefully, give them the right tools and apps so they can use them, because they're very ready. They see it. There's accessible TV, people talk. Their siblings are showing them. So it's all about learning and giving them that opportunity, isn't it? Isn't that what our job is? Facilitators of learning.
Definitely, and they're even more advanced than most adults are. They could actually download something, do new moves, and it's like,
and they're so confident.
Astonishing.
And they love to show you. They love to show you, to say, here, take a look, mom or auntie or whatever. This is what I've done. And what's lovely is the moms of today and the parents and everything are very encouraging, and they want to see their child succeed. I don't think any parent doesn't. And the grandparents, just really, that's the apple of their eyes, and they come to the school often. I mean, most of the parents who visit us, who come to take the children in the afternoon, are the grandparents of the children, and they love to see what we're doing and getting involved. And I had one grandmom, she gets involved in the Gargaan event, which we had earlier this year, and she's preparing the bags with them and talking to them, drawing with them. That's what you want. It's learning through fun and play, and for every age group. So the child shows off, shows off to the ground, look what I can do, and tends to want to do it better and better. And it doesn't really matter if they don't do it through standards that well, but they've tried, and that's what we want.
And I feel it builds their confidence as well, because they could do that in front of their family and their friends at school at the same time.
Exactly, and we have a beautiful library, about 3,000 books on level schemes of reading, and the costumes all from the UK. So every book has a matching costume, like we're doing jungle, we've got multiple colors of animal costumes, and the kids love to dress up and get there and change. And sometimes I've seen the children come into the classrooms still wearing the chicken costume, sitting there doing a completely different activity, but he wants to keep it on, and it looks really fun. And that's what they want, is they're making choices. We don't dictate to the children what to do. We guide them through the different learning zones in the classroom, so they get to feel free to express themselves. And that's the whole idea.
Can you tell us your Instagram account and the website that they could contact you through?
Please, if you can sort of do, it's at RBK for Royal Britannia Kindergarten.
On the screen right now. Yes.
RBK EDU, standing for education. So it's at RBK EDU.
Very interesting. And what about the website?
The website we have is www.rbk.education. I know people might be thinking, put a .com or a .kw. No, it's actually just very simple. It's www.rbk.education.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hanan, for being here tonight with us and sharing all those useful information, I've got to say, since it's back to school in September for RBK.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and found all the reports along with the interview very useful. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Please tune in tomorrow at the same time.